And as we saw earlier, the Bucks even the series. Here's a look at the remainder of the schedule. Tuesday, TNT, 8:30 p.m. in the 718. That's where we'll see the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks take it to Game 5. Welcome back into Studio B, Playoff Central Live. And this was the moment, as B. Wood stated earlier, where the game changed. Kyrie Irving goes down with that left ankle injury coming down, landing on Giannis's foot. You can see the grimace, the pain on his face. Exited the game. He did not return. Steve Nash spoke after the game, said that the x-rays were negative and they do not know his status as of yet for Game 5. And they have exited the building, as I spoke about earlier. There's a lot of things happening in Milwaukee. We'll keep you posted on everything going on. But some players did return, so we hope that everything is well out there in Milwaukee. But we'll shift the focus to basketball right now. And Smitty, coming to you, just looking at the big picture as we look at the rest of the schedule and the series. We don't know if Kyrie's going to play. We know Harden has missed every game, as you mentioned, except for the first 43 seconds. What does this mean for Brooklyn if they're unable to go without those two guys? And we know that they played without them a couple of times this season, but what does that mean for them in the postseason if they have to go the rest of the way without those two?
It's a tough hill climb up the mountain. This is a huge mountain against the Milwaukee Bucks without those two guys. Puts a lot of pressure on Kevin Durant. More pressure on that coaching staff to find ways to get him easy buckets. Joe Harris is a guy who's going to have a game for them to give Kevin Durant some space. But, this is where, unfortunately, missing a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, B. Wood, a stabilizer that you can go down when Kevin Durant might not have it going. They're double-teaming him. Joe Harris might not be knocking down shots, the outside shots. LaMarcus was still able to get some buckets down there. If you let him play one-on-one down there on the block, I think now it's going to be a tough task because you're looking down on their bench. I don't know where they go on that bench. DeAndre Jordan hasn't played, but I don't think that's the answer for them. It's still going to have to be Kevin Durant. A guy like Mike James, there's going to be a strategy right now is getting him high percentage shots. Also understand there might be more double teams where you can get easy buckets. If you lose missing shots because you got the shot you want throughout the double team, you just live with it.
You mentioned strategy, and B. Wood, I want to come to you on this one specifically because we've heard so many things about the word adjustments when it comes to Coach Bud in this series, and we know that Steve Nash is essentially a rookie head coach, although he has some veterans on the sideline with him. How big is coaching going to be going forward in this series?
In the playoffs, just in general, coaching is huge because your stars are going to be stars, but guess what? Your coaches put you in position to succeed. At least the great coaches do. You had a chance to play for Greg Popovich. I had a chance to play for several really good coaches, one being Rick Carlisle. And when you see those excellent game plans and you see how they play out, you start realizing when you have a good coach. And so these game plans, whether it's Bud, whether it's Steve Nash, the coaching battle is going to be key. How do you adjust in game? How do you adjust after the game? What type of after timeout plays do you run? What do you see on the court? I've played with coaches that can be like, yeah, that guy's helping off the weak side, so we can run this type of play. When I knew Jason Kidd was going to be a good coach, he would see that stuff in game as a player. We're playing, we're playing the Clippers, and we used to run a double high play for Jason Terry to come off at the top of the key and get a three. Game on the line, Jason Kidd says, hey, B. Wood, y'all take that screen up 2 steps higher. Jet, fake the screen, go back door, you're going to be wide open. Play work, we won the game. It's simple because he saw it on the fly. So, and he could see that even when he coached. And some of his stops have been better than others, but Jason Kidd has always been able to see that. And I like to see what coaches are aware of those type of things that are going on while they're playing the game. Because when you're a coach, there's a lot going on. You got to figure out, okay, what play we going to run, who's hot, where we going to get the ball to this guy. And then you still got to be able to have a feel for the game. So it's going to be interesting which one of these two coaches has the best feel for the game. And also with these injuries, I hope James Harden doesn't feel pressure to try to come back too early. You know how it is when one guy goes down, everybody starts looking around like, hey, can you play? Can you give us anything? What do you got? I hope James Harden understands, hey, come back when you're ready. This is a hamstring is a soft tissue injury that's really, really tough to recover from, so come back at your own speed.
And I think it's also a fair assessment, B. Wood, on Steve Nash. If he doesn't have Kyrie and James Harden, it's not much he can do. You got to have some talent. He won't have enough talent to be able to. He's still got to put him in position. But sometimes, if you don't have enough talent going up against a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, no matter the adjustments, this is going to be a tall task for them.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing that with Denver right now. Denver's a really good team, but with Jamal Murray hurt,
Will Barton's
with
out.
Will Barton just coming back, with P.J. Dozier being out, it's not enough to beat Phoenix. And that's where Brooklyn is right now. If those two guys don't come back, we talk about Harden and KD. Harden and Kyrie. It's going to be very tough for them to win this series.